What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. I'm your host, Pat Finley. I am joined tonight by James McCanless. But first, pro tip from Commercial Kitchen Pros over at Viper from Refrigeration Technologies. This episode is brought to you by Viper HVAC cleaners. When it comes to keeping commercial kitchen equipment running at peak performance, clean coils and evaporators are non-negotiable. That's where Viper's NSF-registered cleaning products come in. They're safe, powerful, and specifically designed to tackle the grease and grime found in a busy food service environments. Keep your refrigeration and HVAC systems efficient, extend equipment life, and avoid costly downtime. Trust Viper, the name the industry relies on for professional-grade kitchen system maintenance. So what is going on, James? I put a post out last week to try to get some young guns on here, and I got an outpouring of support. All kinds of young guns want to come on. I've got some guys that are older and are kind of butthurt, but it wasn't meant that way, man. I want to hear everybody's stories, but it's been a while since we had some young guns on, and I've got about 5 or 6 that want to come on. And James just happens to be the first one. So James works for my friends over at Austin Mueller's Restaurant Equipment. They're over in Dyersburg, Tennessee, and they're really good people, family owned. A lot of the family works there. And James is one of their newer technicians, 18 years old, and he's out here having fun and enjoying it. So what's going on, James?
Nothing much, just living life.
Living life, man. I didn't realize you were 18 till 2 minutes ago when I asked how old you were. I just knew you were a young gun, but 18, man, that takes the cake, man. I remember my youngest son, he took 2 weeks off after high school and came to work for me. So I know what it's like to have an 18-year-old out here grinding and working. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, I decided that at a very young age that I didn't want to go to school. And my dad and my mom said, well, why don't you go to trade school? And that's what the plan was until I talked to Mr. Austin and Miss Loretta, and they gave me this opportunity. They said, we have an apprenticeship program through Dyersburg State that we'd love for you to go on. And I said, that sounds great. And my first day, I was with one of our technicians, Gary Brewer.
Mm-hmm.
And our first call was on a roof of a McDonald's. One of the coolest experiences I've ever had, just to walk in somewhere. And he just walked behind the counter. And I'm like, whoa, what are we doing? Because everybody knew him there.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it was Gary. And right then and there, I knew that I didn't want to do anything else. And I fell in love with this job.
Yeah, it's a fun industry, man. But, I mean, you do have a little bit of an HVAC background before you came here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You talked about your dad doing some stuff. So what was that like before, you came here? Your dad does HVAC, correct?
Yes, he does.
So did you work with him? Did you ride around with him? Or?
Yes, I did.
So was he mainly residential, commercial, or just anything?
He's industrial.
Industrial, holy smokes.
Yeah, he does big chillers, big air handlers. Everything's big.
You didn't want to do that? You want to do something different?
Well, I seen what he's done, and I loved it. But I didn't, to be quite frank with you, before I come here, I didn't really know what restaurant equipment was. I've just known, hey, they do HVAC. That's what I thought Austin Mueller's was. And then I got into it, and we started doing all these kitchens and all this stuff. Granted, we do some HVAC too. And I found it one of the coolest thing ever to walk into a restaurant and somebody knows, hey, he's here to fix this and get them customers back up and going, or in our case, restaurants. But from a very young age, I knew that I wanted to do something in the refrigeration or HVAC field because I always wanted to be like Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just said that was cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
My youngest always wanted to do what I did because I used to take him to the shop when I cleaned my van out, and he was small, and he'd run up and down inside my van, put my stuff on my shelves and stuff. And then he got older, didn't want to do that anymore, but he always wanted to work with me. And my oldest son works with me, and I was scared to death for him to work for me. He was a jock, never did anything, never touched tools or nothing, but he's doing really well. I guess you can't really judge people, but it's refreshing to see like young people interested in the trades, interested in getting their hands dirty, and out there making a difference.
Yeah, I will say it is very rewarding, but
Mhm.
also tough at the same time because there is a lot of knowledge that you have to retain doing what we do with commercial. Because you could work on one piece of equipment and get it down pat, and you couldn't work on that piece of equipment for another month. Then you're right back at the same piece of equipment. You're like, oh, how do I recall this again?
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, one tip I would tell you is don't try to remember everything. Just try to remember where you can find the information for everything. Uh, if you try to remember everything, you're gonna go crazy. But just try to remember where you found the information and use that in the future. That's my thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're smart." I'm like, "No, I know where to find information. That's about it." So
Uh,
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, we talked a little bit earlier. It's October 1st. It's hunting season, so I know you talk about being outdoorsy. You're talking about deer hunting, bird hunting, and stuff, and I'm like, man, this kid's got it going on.
I've I've always, I mean, I live on a 100-acre farm out in
Nice.
Friendship, Tennessee, and we've got cows, we've got dove fields, deer everywhere, turkeys, and I go duck hunting in halls with my uncle. But from a very young age, I was not given a tablet. I was told go pick up the stick and go play around outside.
So yes, that probably lends to you, wanting to work with your hands versus staring at a screen or something all day long.
I will say I've had a lot of jobs when I was in high school, including not the most manliest job ever, but I was a coffee shop barista, and it was kind of funny. I went in there the other day actually and worked on their ice machine.
They remember you.
They did,
That's funny. That's cool.
especially the cook. He's still there. His name's Jonathan. Big shout out to him. He's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met in my life.
Nice. So you worked for the city for a little bit. Is that what you said? What'd you do
I
there?
did. I maintained equipment. I worked on bush hogs, tractors, brush trucks. I ran brush trucks, drove, bush hogged. I did pretty much everything under the sun that you can imagine. I fixed water leaks. The only thing I wasn't allowed to do was mess with gas lines because you had to be certified.
So what made you decide to give that up and try something different?
Well, I'll tell you the story of how I got this job. For 3 years in a row, it was a summer job.
Hmm.
And the director out there, Mr. Alan Cherry, he gave me a call when I was 15 years old and said, "Hey, we'd love for you to come out and mow the grass and be on our weed eating crew." Well, my first day, I found out that that was not true at all. I mowed grass very minimally. I ran every piece of equipment they had out there, and I did like the job. I will say that it was very fun, but I knew that that's not where I wanted to be forever because that was a job unlike a career that I have here. In my senior year, I left the coffee shop because I could not stand the four walls anymore. I wanted to go do something with my hands.
Nice.
And I called him up and he said, "Come on, we got a spot for you." And when I got there, I'd already told him, I said, "Look, I want to do HVAC or refrigeration, and I'm going to school." And he's like, "Is there any way that I could talk you into going full time?" Because I'd already worked there for 3 years. And I told him, I, to be quite frank with you, I don't want to waste my life. I want to do something with it. And he said, "Okay." I worked there for about 3 weeks. And after lunch one day, about four guys that were all part time, he called us in there after lunch. When I seen him sitting at the desk and I seen Walter sitting at the chair, I said, "It's either a complaint or I'm getting fired." Well, he sat us all down and he said, "The city's budget is going through a cut, and we're going to have to let all part time employees down or let them go." And I've never been let go before. It was pretty much just a layoff because they couldn't have the budget to pay us. And I called my dad up and I was like, "I don't know what I'm going to do." I mean, I had planned out I was going to go finish the summer out there, and then I was going to go to school for HVAC. I was going to do residential work. And when he told me that, I told my dad, I said, "I don't know what I'm going to do." He said, just let me call you back in about 15 minutes. I told him, I said, well, I'm on my way home. I'll talk to you when I get there. I come in here, he pointed at me, he said, come here. And I came in the office. He said, I got two choices for you. I called two people. I can't recall the first guy's name, but it was a HVAC company out of Trenton. He does residential work. He said, you'll be cutting sheet metal and hanging ductworks and crawling in attics. And I said, well, you want to tell me the second option? And he told me about Mr. Austin and Miss Loretta doing the Dyersburg State program. And I said, let's do that option. So, I mean, that's how I got where I am today, working for them full time. And, man, every day is a new adventure. And one thing I've learned is you never stop learning. You learn something new every day. And I got some good advice from a person that's been in this trade for a long time. And he said, the day you stop learning something new is the day you have to hang it up.
Yep, that's
Do something new.
I'm a firm believer in that, man. I still learn stuff all the time. I went and worked on something today I'd never worked on before, and I was like, hey, I told my boss, like, hey, it's gonna be a little while. I've never worked on one of these. And he was like, oh, would you be called a manufacturer and have someone from tech support call you? I was like, no. I'm like, just give me some time to figure it out. I don't need anybody, telling me stuff.
Just let me try and figure it out.
Yeah, let me be, and I figured it out. So it wasn't that hard.
What was it?
It was a Myco dish machine. I've never worked on it.
I don't understand. That's the one thing I'm still learning heavily on is dish machines.
They're different, man. They're different. And everybody does it differently, too, is the bad thing.
I will say that. Because what I do is here soon they're going to have me be a PM tech. And I'm going to do PMs on all like McDonald's and Sonics and stuff like that during the summers. And I've been riding around with a bunch of techs, learning from them, getting the ropes. Everybody does things differently. They have different ways of doing things. And I will say, I rode with Mr. Corey Miller, Mr. Austin and Miss Loretta's son, my fourth day. We went to the airport in Memphis, Tennessee to work at the Chick-fil-A. And I still think to this day he had something to do with it because we were going through TSA and I walked through the metal detector and they said, we got the detection going off. And me and him were wearing the same thing. He had this pretty much same hat I had on. And he said, we're going to have to pat you down. Here's the new guy. And I'm like, and he's just sitting over there snickering. To this day, I think he did something because he knew way too many people in that airport.
That's funny. Yeah, airports are a pain in the butt, man, especially if you got to go behind TSA. You don't get a cut in line. You got to wait. They take your tools. You got to inventory your tools. You take parts and you got to inventory your parts. It's dumb. It's annoying, man.
And what's even worse is when you forget something in the van.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got to repeat the whole process.
And our airport won't let you park anywhere. You got to park out in the back. So, like, you're taking a shuttle out there to your van. It's like you got to your van to get something like an hour ordeal. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I like if I have an airport calling me, I do everything I can to get out of it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this. Unless I ask what to do.
I thought it was the most amazing, cool thing ever because in the Memphis airport, they have these like little, I don't even know what you call those. They're like escalators, but they're flat. And they like help you get across the airport faster. And when I stepped on it, he said, just keep walking. It's not like an escalator. And you were just sitting there zooming past people walking beside them. Dude, I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, they're moving sidewalks. They're pretty fun. Sweet. So, you mentioned you grew up around HVAC with your dad. What was some of the earliest memories that you made that made you curious about, getting into the HVAC industry or refrigeration or working with your hands?
I will say, when I was a little kid, I didn't really remember much because I didn't know that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the memories that made me realize what I wanted to do was one night my dad woke me up. He said, hey, I can't do this. He was on call. And he said, I need you to ride with me. So, of course, 12-year-old me got in the van. We rolled out. and we were at Black Road. I remember this vividly. We were working on something, and he called me over there because I was just sitting there playing on my phone, and he showed me a control panel, and I seen all the blinking lights and all the wires. I said, "You understand this?" He said, "Yeah." And from then on, I said, "Well, I'm going to be like you one day. I'm going to do something like this." And from that point on, any chance I got, I rode with him. And I tell you what, I got really good at cleaning cools.
Nice.
And I realized very fast how bad coil cleaner burns when it gets on your skin.
Yeah, that blue stuff's nasty, man. I don't use that stuff anymore. That's why I wear glasses. I was cleaning some coils and it blew in my face, and I thought I was going to go blind, laying on the roof crying. So you got to be careful with some of that stuff, man. It's pretty bad.
Well, I remember I was like 15 and I was helping him clean cools, and I got it all over my face. And I was smart enough. I went to the nearest faucet or sink, and I just washed it off as quick as possible because it activates with water.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It makes it worse. It's because it feels slimy on your skin.
Yeah.
You get it wet.
So I
You're like,
was just
oh,
sitting there.
why is it burning?
So I was just sitting there scrubbing, and I went to him, and I'm like, I just got cool cleaner all over my face. And keep in mind, my shirt, my pants, everything's sopping wet from me scrubbing my face in the sink. And he's like, "Oh my God, we got to get this off." And he started freaking out. I'm like, "Dad, this is water." And he just started laughing. Oh,
That's great. So, what has surprised you most about working in the restaurant industry?
how much stuff goes on while you're working on the equipment? Because the restaurant does not stop when you're there working on the equipment. So you're working there, and they're trying to work around you.
Mm-hmm.
But in all reality, we're trying to work around them.
Oh, it's restaurants are a busy, wild place, man. It's especially. I mean, I've worked on fryers during lunchtime at McDonald's.
Oh
Um,
my God.
it never stops, and you try to get in there early. You try to plan your day around, you know, the calls you're working on, the piece of equipment you're working on, but it just never works out that way. And like you
Yeah.
said, they're trying to get out of your way. You're trying to get out of their way. It's a nightmare in some of these situations, but it's fun, man. I have a lot of fun doing it. It's a challenge, and I like it.
I do too. I remember this morning I believe I was supposed to go to. It might be tomorrow morning. No, I don't know. But I've got to go take a pump and filter assembly off of a fryer in Blytheville, Arkansas, and we got to put a seal kit on it because it was leaking. I'm just glad it's not the protein fryer. Ooh, protein fryer during lunch. Then they'll get angry at you.
Yeah, protein fryers. Yeah, you can get away with shutting down some French fryers generally, but you shut that protein fryer down. It's a totally different ball game.
Especially if one of their fryers is already down and then their other one goes down, and then you have to shut the whole machine down to work on one vat.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they get a little flustered.
Yeah, and I always try not to shut down the whole vat. Occasionally, you have to just because you're doing something you don't want. Something happen, somebody hit a button or something and dump oil or whatever. So I
Yeah.
try my best not to shut everything down. But I mean, there's times where you just can't avoid it. And you got to do it.
Sometimes, and I will say, man, a lot of people are blowing up my phone right now.
That's funny. I keep hearing it buzz. You're good. You're good. So So what is the program that Austin and Loretta have there? I mean, how long are you riding with somebody? What's the next steps of of their apprenticeship or whatever they're calling it there? What's that like? What's that look like?
Well, they made it very clear. They said that the apprenticeship was through Dyersburg State and that I would talk to them, and that it was, I believe, 200 hours of on-the-job training, riding with another technician. And at the end of it, they would either help you through school if you wanted to go through school, or they would offer you a job through them, and you'd go to CFESA, new technician training, all the trainings that you'd want to go through. And right then and there, in my first ever time meeting Miss Loretta, before my first day, I told her, I said, well, I believe I'm going to stay here. If I can get away with it, I want to stay here and work and learn on the job rather than going to school.
Nice. That's cool. That's cool. So, you mentioned CFESA. So, have you signed up for any CFESA courses yet or any classes?
I believe we're going to new technician training next year. We're going to do in-house training this winter, and then next fall they're going to send us to new technician, is my understanding, possibly.
I'd probably try to get in a new technician probably in the spring.
I don't exactly know what the schedule looks like.
Yeah. It's on the web. Well, it may not be on the website yet, but I've taught DUTECH training. It's a fun course. I teach refrigeration for CFESA currently. CFESA is a pretty cool program. They got a lot of cool classes for people. I think it'd do some good. My oldest son went and took a electric EGSW. My youngest son's gonna go to EGSW in December. It's really cool what they do there. I mean, it's hands-on. Dan's a tremendous instructor. You're not gonna find a better instructor that's more personable, that has stories relevant to what you're gonna do. And he's an all-around good guy. He'll joke, have fun, but he's gonna teach you a lot, and he just has a really good teaching style. If I could teach like him, I'd make a fortune teaching. I wouldn't be fixing stuff. So that's cool. So do you already have your EPA certification yet then, or?
I am working on it at the moment. Like, I study every night. I believe I'm going to I'm confident enough. I think I'm going to take it Friday.
Nice. So my son got his through SkillCat. It's like an app. It's pretty cool. It's like a self-guided course, and then you take the test at the end and you get your certificate. It's pretty cool.
Well, I did it the old-fashioned way. I went and got the old study guide book from John Stone, and I've been studying it every night. I'm going to go take it possibly Friday.
All right.
They can fit me in.
Good luck, man. Good luck. It's not hard. It's not bad.
Yeah. I'm going for the universal technician.
Yeah, that's good too. Like, don't bother getting just like a 1 or 2. Just get it all and be done with it. That way you don't have to worry about it in the future.
Exactly. And you're certified for everything.
So how do you keep yourself motivated to keep learning and improving every day?
I looked at it like this. I always, as soon as I got into Austin Miller's, I thought I knew something until my first day, and I realized I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing compared to some of the older guys. One of the smartest people I know, big shout out to him, Zach Hampton. Dude is one of the smartest dudes I know.
Yeah.
Corey Miller, he's very smart, and Heath Brassfield is probably one of the techs that I've learned the most from.
Nice.
And just seeing how they do things every day and seeing how they can relate and how they can just basically listen to it and know what's wrong with it, or it's just easy for them to do something that I don't comprehend, makes me want to learn more and to be like them.
Yeah, that's a great perspective to have. I mean, always be, you said earlier, always being willing to learn, always being wanting to learn. I mean, it goes a long way, so that's cool. Let's see, where else? Where am I at? So you say you want to keep working here at Austin Miller's. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Making me think tonight, Pat. You're making me think.
I try to keep it pretty easy, man. Try to keep it pretty easy.
Yeah, but I take my future pretty seriously, and I plan on being a very good technician. I want to get all of my CFESA. I want to be a master technician, and I want to get to the point to where I have a basic understanding of everything. And in 5 years, I would like to be. I set pretty high standards for myself. I'd like to be one of Austin Miller's top techs.
Nice. It's very attainable. I'll tell you right now, my son's been doing it 3.5 years. He's our top tech because his numbers are better than mine. Everything he does is better than mine, but I get stuck with like the callbacks. I gotta go do everybody else's callbacks. I gotta fix stuff. I got trouble customers. So a lot of my time gets wrote off, so I don't really look that up. But I mean, he's the number one tech as far as numbers go in the branch. He's not selling unnecessary parts. He's just fixing stuff. He's out there enjoying what he does and takes pride in his work. I mean, that's all it takes. You don't have to go crazy. Just have pride in your work and want to do a good job, man, and everything else falls in line.
That's another big thing. I like if I work on something, I want to make sure that it works correctly and that we don't have to go back out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Slow down, especially for refrigeration. You got to slow down, take your time. Hot side, you can kind of get a little bit more hurry. You don't want to get too big of a hurry, but a little bit sooner. On that cold side stuff, man, you got a walk-in freezer. It's 40 degrees. You fix it, and all of a sudden it just hangs. It doesn't go anywhere. You're like, what do I do? And you start second guessing your repair. You start second guessing what you've done.
You just got to wait it out. Just
then you're in your own head. And like, if you're at night, you're like, hey, I'll come back tomorrow, or like it's in the morning, hey, I'll stop back by later and check on it. It's just, dude, you just get in your own head when it stops. Like I did a repair today. I did a cold well, and I charged it up. The pressure was great. It was running fine, man. And like the ice pattern was weird, but there was no pans in it. I was like, man, I started freaking out. I was like, did I screw up? So I threw a bunch of pans in there, and the frost pattern fixed itself. I was like, okay, got to block some airflow off. I'll be all right. So, but yeah, you got to take your time and don't second guess yourself. I do have a comment I want to throw up here real quick. It's from my friend Michael. He said he's been looking forward to this series. He's been working with a 19-year-old, and it's crazy how fast the young guys learn. Yeah, Michael, the young guys are killing it out there, man. I know a ton of I got my son, and I know some other young guys, and they're eager to learn. They're wanting to make a name for themselves. And I think if you're an 18 through 25-year-old and you find this career, you can make a name for yourself pretty fast, and you can start making pretty good money pretty fast too.
And I will say it's very rewarding when you work on a piece of equipment and you see it run again.
Mm-hmm.
Just that accomplishment. I did that, man. That's big. That's a big thing for me because I've always prided myself on doing things the right way, especially through high school. I mean, I was a varsity football player. I was in FFA, Skills USA. I was in Sheen's Club. I did pretty much everything I possibly could. And when I was in Skills USA, that's like for wood shop and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I made it past regionals, and I made it to the state competition in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the top 3 got a scholarship, and they went to nationals to compete against all the other states in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in cabinet making. And I got there. I was walking around with my shop teacher, and he's a big role model to me. His name's Bruce Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around, and out of the corner of my eye, I see an ice machine and a split system, and I'm like, what's that doing over here? He said, I didn't want to tell you this, but they have an HVAC competition, because he knew that's what I wanted to do. And he said, I needed somebody to carry on the cabinetry. I mean, we've done it for so many years. And I said, that's all right. Well, we had a 4-hour time limit when we had to make everything down to the trim patterns ourselves and make it. And I believe there was 11 guys in our row making cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that when I got there, I was outgunned immediately because I looked this dude up on Facebook. One of the dudes there, he had his own cabinet making business.
In high school?
In high school.
That's funny.
And we had dudes from TCAT and all kinds of stuff. And after 2 days, they got the judging finally done, and they took the podium for it. My name was not called for the top 3, and I was so disappointed. And Mr. Bruce said that he was going to run and get the score sheet. Me thinking I did awful. I was in last place. I was 0.5 points away from being in the top 3.
Oh, no.
And that hurt even worse than coming in last.
Ricky Bob, if you ain't first, you're last.
I'm telling you.
That's funny. But, I mean, you took it well. You tried your best. And, I mean, you were almost there, dude. That's cool.
Yeah. Mr. Bruce was proud of it because he hasn't had anybody in the top 5 in like 10 years.
Nice. That's cool. Do you still do anything with cabinets or just gave up on it?
I still woodwork every now and then.
That's
like
cool.
I'm building a cross for my uncle. His dog recently passed away, so I'm gonna go over to Mr. Bruce's house. He's got a CNC machine, and I'm gonna CNC him a cross for her.
Yeah, I'm upstairs in my barn. I've got an office, but downstairs I've got a CNC machine. I've got a laser. I got all kinds of stuff for my wife, and she don't ever use it. So, but I got a CNC machine. I play around with a little bit, so it's fun. It's pretty cool things you can do with those things.
It is, and once you start dabbling in that and do engravings and stuff, and then you start messing with epoxy, and you can do all different colors and wood and stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, we call this the Young Gun series, but what does being a young gun mean to you in this industry?
To do what we do, it's not all about the money.
Mm-hmm.
You have to want to do this. And to me, it's a big honor to be able to do this job because not many people are willing to put in the work to understand what we have to understand.
Yeah.
That's why our trade is our trade is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak tonight, apparently.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. You're not used to all this.
No, I guess not.
But no, that's a good way to
I
put
stutter
it.
when I'm just in the van.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. So if you were to go, say you were, running someone from high school or some other young person, and they asked you what you do, what would you tell them? If they're like, hey, if they ask, curious what you do, want to maybe do it, what would you tell them?
I actually had somebody from high school today text me this morning, hey, what are you doing now? And I told them, I said, well, I do restaurant equipment service. And they're like, what is that? And I try to make them understand the best way I could. I'm like, well, like ice machines, walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, deep fryers, anything from a tea maker to an HVAC unit.
That's what I tell everybody, man. That's like from a dish machine, garbage disposal to ice machine, fryer. I said, if it's in the kitchen, I'm gonna try to fix it, man.
That's the one thing I asked them. I said, so what do we mainly work on? They handed me a card, and on the back of the card it had like 54 things, and then on the bottom it says etc. And I'm like, we do all this? And he said, read the front of the card, and I wish I had one on me. Oh man.
Yeah, there's nothing in the kitchen we won't touch, man. Like some of these McDonald's have these conveyor belts for the sandwiches now, and they shoot up this conveyor belt. I've worked on those. I mean, I'll work on anything, dude. It's a challenge. I think the challenge is what gets me though. I love the challenge. Like something I haven't worked on, I don't know how it works. To get in there and figure it out and get it going. I mean, that's my favorite part about this job.
I will say it's very rewarding when something is down. And I know I've said this, but it's just the sense of pride that you get to feel that you put your all into it and you fixed it. And I don't know. It's just our job's about making the restaurant flow well. Without us, the restaurant will not be open.
Yep, 100%.
Because I mean, it's not like they've got. I mean, I know there's in-house techs and stuff like that, but whenever they get stumped, then you call us.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Being 18 years old, you've already said it that you didn't even know this industry existed. What can we do to better get industry out to the next generation of technicians, like you or even younger than you, to show off what we do? What can we do better to do that?
Advertisement. And not the old-fashioned in a TV. Nobody watches TV anymore. They go on Netflix and Hulu and Paramount. They're watching YouTube. Put ads on YouTube. Put ads on TikTok. TikTok, it does not cost you anything.
Yeah.
To start a channel. Make a channel and just
better watch out. Loretta's in here and she's liable to make you do TikToks for the company if you keep this up.
I would be more than happy to record us some TikToks and put them on there.
I will warn you, it's kind of rough in restaurants because you don't want to say where you're at because sometimes people get mad and then everything's branded. So you got to kind of what you do. So, and you don't want to show people in there, but I mean, you can do it. It's a lot of work. I've got a lot of footage where I can't use it because of that kind of stuff, but it's fun. Man.
Watch it. But I will say it does help because the younger generation, they're not paying attention to newspapers or anything like that. They're paying attention to Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, if you walk past somebody on the street, 9 times out of 10, they've got a phone in their hand while scrolling through TikTok. And it's sad to say, most of the time when you're driving past people, even like in your work van, you look over, they're scrolling through TikTok driving. I mean,
I got a camera that faces me and it screams at me if I look at my phone. So
yeah,
I can't do that. So, but yeah, TikTok's everywhere, man. It's crazy. I will tell you, if you're gonna do TikTok or any kind of social media, be ready for constructive criticism and don't take offense to it. Rich is in here being smart like in the chat right now because I've run in today with a guy. We were just trying to be constructive and the guy just like lost his mind and flipped out, and it's so dumb. Like, no, I'm just trying to like help you out. Like, people, think they just because they've done something for so many years doesn't mean they're doing it right. And but you just got to be ready for constructive criticism. And there is some cyber bullies out there, but don't let them get to you. Just block them and go about your business. But I think Loretta said you better get on it. See, where's she at? There she goes. Yep, get those TikToks going, James.
Don't worry, I will. Trust me.
I
think in our group chat, Mr. Austin just sent a TikTok to us.
The thing is don't be too serious. Don't have fun, but make sure you have pride in what you do and you're going to do a good job. So that's why I tell everybody, like, if you're willing to share your stuff, you have pride in it. So that means you're going to do a better job anyway. So just have fun with it and don't get too serious. And just it's hard to distinguish the criticism, like the constructive criticism versus just straight up a-holes out there on the internet.
And I will say there is a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is. And sometimes Rich is one too. He don't want to admit it, but I just give Rich a hard time. So, okay, what else we got going on here? So, you've only been in there for a few months, but who's been your biggest mentor or inspiration so far in your journey into the food service repair industry?
That was a pretty easy one. Mr. Corey Mealer.
Mr. Corey Mealer. Nice. He's I've heard some good things about him.
He is extremely smart and he's an extremely hard worker. Mm-hmm. He's very family oriented. He cares so much. And I will give this, and we have some of his coworkers on here. I will say this.
Oh, that one didn't mean that one. So she said you've made us proud so far. So you've got a good support system there, man. I will say I am one of the biggest fans. Rich is too, of Loretta and Austin. Like, they are some of the nicest people. Every chance I see them, I hope to hang out with them. I'm gonna see them hopefully this weekend, next week, and get to hang out with them some. But what they're doing there is it's a family environment. They treat everybody like family. Even if you're not family, they treat all their employees like family. They've gone above and beyond for people. And some people may, things may have happened, but they take care of their employees and their people, and it's really cool to see.
I will say, from the second I stepped in that office, everyone there has made me feel like family. Never once did I ever feel like I did not belong. And I've had so many jobs to where I go in and it's just day in and day out. It doesn't feel like that. I feel happy when I wake up each morning that I get to go do something new and learn something new.
Sweet. So what excites you most about the future of this industry?
The opportunities that we have to expand. And I will say, Miss Loretta, shout out to her, and Mr. Austin, they were talking about AI at one of the CFESA meetings. Mm-hmm. And they wanted us to start trying out AI and stuff like that. And it's a bit weird, I will say that, because you could type in 2 sentences and it'll make it an 8-paragraph essay. You're like, whoa, where'd that come from? Mm-hmm. But it's very exciting to think of where technology can lead the service industry. But it's also scary at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, and it's still fairly new, so you kind of got to watch what you feed it, because it's just taking other people's stuff and putting it back out there, regurgitating, spitting it back out. Rich, he was talking about his son. was having a question with something, and he fed the service manual into ChatGPT and then asked questions, and then it scanned the service manual and spit out possibilities of what could be the problem. I was like, holy smokes, that's crazy. So
It's wild. And it can be scary, but it can also be an amazing tool for us to use in the field. But I wouldn't trust it too much.
No, it's still pretty new. It'll get better as it goes, though. As long as people are feeding it good information, is a problem. So let's get into some rapid fire stuff. So, what is your favorite tool in your tool bag right now?
Good thing I've got my tool bag right here that is still currently on, and the batteries are probably dead. My Fluke amp clamp. I use it every day.
Nice, nice. So, what is your go-to snack or drink for your ride into work or your midday, energy crash, or what? You're probably living off energy drinks, I imagine, probably. And
I will say Dr. Pepper zero sugar, or just regular Dr. Pepper. And probably I usually snag a beef jerky stick every now and then at the gas station, like if we're filling up the vans. And but usually, we stop and we get lunch. So you don't usually snack.
you probably get fed. You probably get fed a bunch too.
I will say that my very first day, I realized that they always try to feed you, and sometimes it's okay to say no.
Yeah. So I tell everybody this. When I started, I was like 225, 235, and I've gotten as heavy as 440. I'm not there now. I'm below 400, but you got to watch that stuff, man, because it adds up fast.
It does. You got to be careful. And as you can tell, I am not of the skinny stature.
So what's the worst surprise you found on a job site so far? Don't mention a customer's name, but what is the worst thing you found? It's probably something pretty nasty.
Not saying any names, but I was working on something and I took a control board off, and up underneath it was a family of dead cockroaches.
Better than live cockroaches.
Yes, I will say that there was a few of those too.
So do you prefer early morning calls or later in the day calls or late night calls?
Late night.
I'm an early person, man. I'm up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and out the door at 5. I try to get into my first call by 6 in the morning if I can. I used to think that, hey, I'd start early, so I'd get off early. And my dispatcher, that means, oh, he wanted extra hours, so let's work him from 6 to 6 or 7 every day. So
I will say it's a weird feeling from whenever you go from a 40-hour week job to what we do. It's you try to get started at 6 or 7, and you go home when you're done. There is no set time.
I know people always ask me, hey, you want to hang out after work? I'm like, sure. What time you get off? I'm like, I don't know.
I have no clue. I got asked that today. I was like, it could be 3 o'clock. It could be 8 o'clock.
Nice. So, music or podcast while driving in between calls? Which do you listen to?
Music. I will say that. Music.
What's
Big music guy.
That's what I'm going to ask you. What your favorite genre, what your favorite artist was right now. So,
favorite artist at the moment. I know this is going to be very controversial, but my favorite country music artist ever is Mr. Keith Whitley himself.
Nice. Okay. So, one piece of advice you'd give your future self 10 years from now.
Don't take, whenever somebody or an older person tells you something, don't take it to heart. Use it as a learning experience.
That's a good one.
They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to help you.
Yeah. And some of these older guys come off wrong. They don't, sometimes they don't come off. They may not mean it that way, but they come off, kind of grumpy or something. And I do it myself. I'm only 42 and I train new guys every day. And sometimes I come off like smart ass or, cocky or something. And I don't mean to. But yeah, make sure you pay attention to what those guys are saying. They're not wasting their breath. They're telling you something. They're telling you something because they've screwed up and they've done it the wrong way. And they want you to do it the right way.
So. Yeah. And I've always worked some in the places to where there's a bunch of young kids and they don't know as much as, or they know just as much, if not less than you. Going from that to a bunch of guys that have been doing this significantly longer than me, to say the least, and just hearing what they had to say. Sometimes you have to put your pride aside and realize, hey, they know what they're talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
you have no clue how much they know.
Yep. I will say one thing: just stay humble. Don't get an ego, even if you get good. Because the moment you have that ego, something's going to slap you in the face and make you look stupid, man. I've been doing it 20 years, and I've won awards. I teach. I do all this stuff, and I always try to stay humble. If I start to get an ego, I try to check that as fast as I can. But yeah, you want to stay humble and be chill.
Yeah.
So one last question: if you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you'd buy?
First thing I would do is I would pay off my parents' mortgage. I'd pay off everything they own. Now I'm going to extend the question to 2 and 3. Second thing is I would buy a crap ton of hunting property.
That's
Good
my
duck land, good deer land, turkeys, everything. I want that thing to be loaded out. And then I'd get a big old house on that property. And I'd be content.
That's the same thing with me. Everybody's like, "What do you want? If you won the lottery, you move somewhere nice." I'm like, "Nah, I'd buy a ton of land, woods, build a big old pond on it, build a house on it, have a big barn, and I just do what I wanted to do. I don't want anything fancy. I just want a big barn, big house, and chill. That's about me. So
I will say that if I could choose it, outdoors is where I'd want to be.
oh yeah, I'm the same way, man. It hurt. And I woke up this morning. I was like, I should have took today off. I should have called in. I was like, if I call in, they know what I'm calling in. I can't do it because my boss hunts. I was like, if I call in today, he already knows what I'm doing. And then my trainee, he's a big hunter. He's 22 years old. He's my oldest son, one of his good friends, and he's sending me pictures today. He's like, oh, this deer just walked from my stand. This deer just walked from my stand. Then he sent me a picture. He's like, I almost shot a piebald doe, and he sent it to me, and it was a fawn with spots. I was like, stop, dude, don't do this to me.
Dude, that's what
That's
I
just
got
good
sent
enough.
pictures
TikTok
because it opened up Saturday here for us,
now.
and my bow that I had bought was down,
Yeah.
and I got it because I had to get the draw length adjusted and my peep sight and all that stuff, and I finally got it back, and I was shooting yesterday practicing, and it was like my first time like actually shooting it,
Mhm.
and I twisted my arm wrong, and when that string come back down, it popped me right in the arm, and it made me question bow hunting. Period.
Yeah, I had a bruise that went like from here to here one time where I got it real good. Like I cranked my wrist out and it just, damn, dude, I cried so bad. I'll never do that again. So it's funny. So we're coming up on time limit, but I really appreciate you coming on, James. And I'm gonna keep talking to you because you seem like a good kid. You've got a lot of good people around you, surround you. And I'm excited to see where you're going to go in the next few years. Austin and Loretta really love pouring into the people. You've got some good role models there between Zach and Corey and everybody else. And I'm going to keep in touch and figure out where you're going in the next 5 years because I'd like to see you master certified tech. I'd like to see it one of my refrigeration classes, maybe somebody else's. I don't know. We'll see. But I think you're going to go places and you're going to do well, man. You got a good head on your shoulders and you seem like you enjoy what you do so far.
I love what I do. I don't enjoy it. I love it. Some days I might not like it, but I always love it.
So at the end of the show, I tell people to plug their social media if they want. I will link your LinkedIn in the show description. If you have any others you want people to follow you, say it now, and I'll link it in the description when I do this when I do the episode on Friday. But now's your time to get some new followers. If you want, if you don't. I don't care, but it's your time to put your name out there.
I ain't got nothing to say. I do have to say I appreciate Miss Loretta, Mr. Austin, Mr. Jerry, and Miss Lena. And don't forget the dispatchers and the quote people, Miss Haley and Miss Madison, and the parts person, Miss Jenna. And just big shout out to everybody that's helped me out so far. I wouldn't have been able to do it without y'all, and I appreciate it very much.
All right, man. Have a good night, buddy.
You too. I appreciate it.
Yep.